the relationship that we built with Cisco is meant to be more than just getting access to, to great products and services at better prices. It's really an opportunity, an investment between the two organizations to understand each other's needs better, to talk about where we're going and align on some of those opportunities. You'll find, and I would encourage you to talk to your CIO, your local CIO, about opportunities for training, so you can actually get certification in more of the Cisco product suite. Opportunities to participate in some of their beta programs, so early product introductions, advisory boards. We've got a dedicated account team ready to support our organization and our needs, whether that's at the brainstorming stage or at the implementation stage. And also opportunities to engage their organization. Obviously, we all know Cisco, and the great things they've been doing for decades now, but engage their executives in terms of helping us understand how to move the needle forward for the university, the opportunities to participate in case studies, and also explore some new spaces. We've been talking about how Cisco could help us in the healthcare space, how they can help us in smart campuses and the student experience. So this is a broad relationship, and I really encourage people, to open their minds about how they might engage strategic with whatever the challenge is in your campus or medical center. With that, I'd like to turn it over to my counterpart, Matt Lowe, who leads the account team and is responsible for a large part of the public sector business for Cisco in the U.S. He's going to kind of take you through a little bit and introduce his team, and then turn it over to some of the content we're going to cover today. So, Matt, turning it over to you.
Great, Tom. Thanks for the intro. And again, good morning and welcome to everyone out there across the University of California. As Tom mentioned, very excited about today's session, and we're extremely happy to be part of this strategic relationship with the University of California. As the title today mentions, it's Cisco More Than Routing and Switching. The real purpose of this is for us to give a high-level overview of a lot of the new acquisitions and product portfolio and product development that you may not be familiar with from Cisco. And again, with the new agreement we have in place, we wanted to kind of make sure everyone knows what's out there and available with the new pricing structure, with the agreement that you now have access to. So that's really going to be the main purpose of today. We have a great session set up. We're going to go through all those areas that I mentioned a minute ago, and we're also going to offer up some demos and other workshops and things that are available through the strategic relationship agreement, as well as we have some offers today for some of the folks that follow up for some on-site sessions to get some free gear to try out, as we also have, in the agreement, we have some product feedback, product development programs as well. After we finish the call, we'll be sending out the presentations and a recording so that everyone that couldn't make it could also be able to watch and get all the information. And in that documentation will also be the contact information for the account team, so that you understand that we have a full dedicated team covering the University of California. And I want to make sure that everyone out there knows who to contact to get any follow-up information. We have a very large team of about 50 plus people that are covering all these different technologies and direct sales. So please don't hesitate to reach out to anyone for any follow-up whatsoever. And to kind of kick it off, I'm going to start in our data center portfolio and cloud and turn it over to one of our data center specialists, Ian Chick. So Ian, if you're out there, let's go ahead and get the session rolling and start with our data center portfolio.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt. And for those of you I have not met, greetings. My name is Ian Chick. I am the data center technology specialist for the UCs in the South. So that is UC Santa Barbara, UCLA, UC Riverside, UC Irvine, and UC San Diego. So very excited about that. Some of you in the North may have met my colleague, Jerry Piepmeyer. Jerry and I are on the same team, and we focus on the data center. So we're going to go ahead and move into the next slide here. I did want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak to University of California, and we do appreciate that. Being a graduate at UCLA, go Bruins and Fiat Lux. Pretty gosh darn excited that we get to be in partnership together. So excited about that. So as Matt said, one of the things that we've been focusing on and thinking about here is this idea of digital transformation. Well, digital transformation has come and gone, and now we're in it. It isn't something to be afraid of. It's what we're experiencing now. And there's some characteristics around that we want to help you, our customer, the University of California. And the first of those is just the velocity and the amount of data is increasing dramatically, and that's really changing how we look at our applications and we look at our data centers and our communication. Also, the opportunity and the challenge of hybrid cloud in terms of being able to run applications in both your on-prem data center and in a public cloud. And we believe that hybrid cloud is the new normal. And then just the pressure of application modernization with the constant desire for our customers to have new applications, and we have gotten iPhone used to the iPhone, so we want our applications quickly and easily, and why can't we have all our apps running on our iPhone or our Android device? So there's a tremendous amount of pressure in those places. And so what can Cisco do to help? Let's go to the next slide. All right, and one of those is we realize that it is a cloud world, and Cisco believes that it is a multi-cloud world. And what that means is we believe that resources will be running on the local data center and the public cloud. And this is information taken from a lot of work that we've been doing with our customers, and obviously a tremendous amount of surveys. So our approach to, if you will, the data center and the cloud is really about a hybrid approach of being able to bring both of those together. So let's go ahead and move to the next slide. All right, and to help identify and work with some of the problems and challenges and opportunities is this multi-cloud portfolio, moving applications to the more scalable, more desirable, more modern environment, and then how do we make cloud native applications more useful? And what Cisco has done is created a multi-cloud portfolio that allows us to look at these 4 areas, and we'll explore those in the next slide. All right, so our multi-cloud portfolio is really about how we can bring the breadth and depth of our experience and our technologies, our platforms, and our topologies to bear when it comes to modernizing, moving applications to the cloud and understanding how to run applications in the cloud and in the data center. So we have 4 pillars of that, or 4 legs of that stool, and we're going to start with Cloud Connect. Cloud Connect is all about getting those bits to transmit in between the cloud and connecting and moving those data in the applications and sharing information so that we can make sure that's done securely with the greatest amount of performance and throughput and scale. Next is Cloud Protect. Well, that's pretty simple, right? We want to protect, we want to isolate, we want to secure, we want to make sure the same things you're doing today in terms of the data center for securing those workloads, we want to save those and secure those workloads inside the the cloud as well. Also, we have Cloud Consume. And Cloud Consume is where I'm going to be talking about my area, and that's my area of particular focus, and that's about consuming application services and resources in the cloud. How do I take those apps and move them to the cloud and make sense of that in my environment? And then last but not least certainly is Cloud Advisory, and that's from learnings that we've taken from our customers, but more importantly from Cisco Advanced Services and our partners. How do we help you understand the big picture and the small picture and put that all together? And let's go ahead and move to the next slide. All right. First of all, so then when you look at cloud consumption, it begins for Cisco with this idea of a flexible cloud infrastructure. So that is the foundation of what might be running in your data center. And these 3 areas are based on what we call Cisco's software-defined data center approach. And in Cisco's software-defined data center approach, we actually take the benefit of software and Cisco hardware with unique capabilities and components and provide extra and additional value. So rather than 1 + 1 being 2, 1 + 1 = 3 in this technology approach. So what are the 3 areas? Starting with the left to the right, we have compute and storage. And so just generically compute and storage. Next would be a software-defined fabric. And then the third would be a software-defined policy. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So what does Cisco offer in these places? So in software-defined compute and storage, we have Cisco's UCS, and UCS is Unified Computing System. That is our x86 server platform that runs Windows, that runs Linux, that runs Hyper-V, that runs VMware. Those are running your applications, and many of the campuses, departments, and schools have standardized on UCS. So that's our software-defined computing platform. We also have Cisco HyperFlex, and HyperFlex is our software-defined storage platform. That idea then brings in computing, virtualization, storage, and management and network all into one common platform, allowing you, the customer, to have an easy to manage, easy to scale, cloud-like capability in your data center. All right, moving on, ACI is the fabric approach. So ACI stands for application-centric infrastructure. That's our SDN, software-defined network strategy. And that allows us to create a common policy for all applications and services in virtual machines, and that can be run on your data center, in multiple data centers, and in many cloud environments as well. The same policy can be extended, the same capability. Then we have our software-defined policy, which is tetration analytics. And tetration is something that we run in the data center that allows us to understand all of the communication inside the data center. So some customers have called it the data center DVR, so digital video recorder. And what does that mean? It allows us near real time to calculate or capture, all the communication, all of the flows, and all of the application traffic for your applications in your environment in near real time. And that same technology can also be deployed to resources deployed in the cloud, so we can capture that performance and transition as, that performance as well. Let's go ahead and move on. All right, so now as a foundation, our flexible cloud infrastructure provides the hybrid cloud of sort of the on-prem data center. What if we're going to move applications into the cloud? What might Cisco be able to bring to this story? And we bring a lot of things to the story. And first of all, what we bring is our focus on the application. So we are here and we are in the cloud and providing data centers. Why we have data centers and why we have the cloud is it's about providing applications. And the applications are those that our customers use, our students, our staff, our faculty, and the folks outside the university as well. So if I'm going to focus on applications, the first thing that I need to decide is, well, what applications should I move to the cloud? What are good candidates? How we do that is our decision engine, and that is done through Cisco Workload Optimization Manager, or we might call it Cisco WOM, W-O-M. WOM, or Cisco WOM, Cisco Workload Optimization Manager, is a partnership with a company called Turbonomic, and it allows us to understand your virtual machine environment first in your data center to help you optimize that, but then even more importantly, answer the question of which VMs, which applications should I move to the cloud, and if I do move them to the cloud, what size should they be? And size is important because you pay as a cloud consumption, as a cloud consumer, for the sizes of your virtual machines running in your environment 24 hours a day. So we want to make sure the sizing and the placement is correct. And so we're not overspending for those resources in the cloud. All right, then moving above to the top there, we need a visibility engine. So Cisco App Dynamics is our visibility engine. And App Dynamics allows us to look and create a baseline of your applications so that we can understand how those applications communicate and the different portions of the application. What are the different cohorts of the application that's running in your environment, i.e. how many servers, where are they located, what's the application look like? So we want to understand that, but even more importantly, we want to understand what is the application's performance. So we want to build an application baseline that allows us to understand, okay, I know in my environment on the campus, it runs this way, because if and when we move it to the cloud, you want to make sure that that performance is at least the same and or better in the cloud, and that is provided to us by our visibility engine, App Dynamics. All right, now that we understand our environment, if we made some decisions and we have some visibility, the next thing we might want to do is deploy our workloads into the cloud, and that's where Cisco Cloud Center comes into place. And Cisco Cloud Center is about modeling my applications, your applications in your environment, and those can be deployed either in a public cloud or on your data center. So it's a hybrid cloud approach. The idea is we create a cloud agnostic model of your application so that that can be deployed in any cloud. That could be in any Amazon cloud, any Azure cloud, any Google cloud, or any cloud that exists in your environment. That could also be different regions in, say, an Amazon cloud as well. So Cisco Cloud Center is what allows us to actually take those apps, drag and drop, and move them into the cloud environment. So what you have from Cisco then is a complete solution that allows us to, first of all, create an environment based in your data center move those applications to the cloud, which are the appropriate applications, and then provide a policy engine to understand how they're performing at both on-prem in your data center and off-prem in the public cloud. And that's tetration analytics, as you can see there from the bottom. And if we go to the next slide. All right. What we often suggest as a next step for our customers as part of our 4-pillar solutions, we have this idea of a cloud advisory. And the suggested solution there is our strategy workshop. That's where Cisco AS can come in and help the university understand where are they on their journey to the cloud. Are they far along in their journey to the cloud? Are they beginning their journey to the cloud, or somewhere in between? We can help you understand where you are today, where you'd like to be tomorrow, and what is that gap. And what's nice about this particular approach is it's not focused on Cisco solutions. It's focused on solutions to help you make the transition to the cloud. If indeed you do ask Cisco about their solutions and technologies and topologies, we're often happy to provide that, but that's not part of the original solution. So it is provider agnostic in terms of those steps and suggestions. This is a fabulous way that we've used with many of our customers to understand where they are in the journey and help them accelerate that journey quite effectively. And let's move ahead. Great. So now when I'm adding the different pillars of the technology of the multi-cloud portfolio, the Cloud Consume, the Cloud Protect, Cloud Connect, and the Cloud Advisory Services, and work with our partners in Cisco around design and deployment, that leaves you, the University of California, with a faster implementation and faster time to value, lower risk and lower cost. That's the update from the data center, and go Bruins.
All right, Ian, that's great. Hey, one quick question that comes up around our data center portfolio, specifically around App Dynamics, which is the new acquisition that we have. Could App Dynamics help me understand how my applications are performing and tell me if I have performance issues? So can you maybe touch on what App Dynamics does? Because really, that's really the great value that I think that brings to the data center application environment.
Yeah, so thank you, Matt. You said, will App Dynamics allow me to see how my applications are performing? And if I'm having trouble, will it be able to help me understand that in a better perspective? And the answer is yes. So App Dynamics is a very, very capable technology. The idea around that is it models and creates a baseline for the running applications in your environment. So it allows us to understand all of the components of how that application is presented. So normally, being an IT person, we think about things in the data center. Well, App Dynamics understands the data center, but it also understands potentially how the application has been coded. If we have access to the source code, we can actually look at how the application has been coded. And we can also understand outside of the data center, how is that application being delivered to our end user customers. So if your customer, let's say, uses a web browser, it can understand how that actual user experience is from where they are on the WAN all the way out to the application running in the data center, all the way down to the code. So it provides a unique set of values that none of the other product sets can do, and it gives that specific visibility around those key applications so we know when they're up and running. Hope that helps.
All right, Ian. Thanks for the overview on all of our cloud portfolio and data center portfolio. Again, if anyone wants to reach out at the end on the contact and your team for one of the cloud workshops, we'd be glad to help support that. And to keep things going, we'll go over to Peter Romness now for Cisco Security. Peter, are you out there?
Yes, and thank you, Matt, for introducing me. My name is Peter Romness, and I'm coming to you today from Herndon, Virginia, right outside Washington, D.C. I'm the Cybersecurity Solutions Lead for the Public Sector CTO office here at Cisco. So I'd like to talk to you about Cisco Security today. And I'd like to start out by for those of you that don't know, Cisco is a major player in the cybersecurity market. Now, just to kind of put up a comparison of Cisco to many of the players in the cybersecurity market, you can say that that we are a much bigger company. Now, this includes all of our products, so it's probably not a fair representation. But even if I just included the Cisco-specific security products, it would still be the largest of all these companies listed here. And that doesn't even include the security that we build into all of our products and the fact that we use all of our switches and routers as part of our security ecosystem. Another interesting way of looking at this is the amount of acquisitions that Cisco has made recently. This really shows the investment that we've been making in purchasing some of the top technology that is out there, but we just don't buy for the sake of buying. We buy when it meets a targeted goal and when we can make it fit into all of the other products that we sell for security.
So, Peter, I think you're going to need to get Amanda to advance I don't think the slide moved forward on your first slide.
Will you advance, please, Amanda? Okay. And advance one more time. Okay, so you can see that we've made quite a few acquisitions, but the other thing that we've done is invest very heavily in making all of these acquisitions work together. Now, the fact that we're the 400-pound elephant in the room is a nice thing, but that doesn't always translate to something that's good for the customer. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that we have as a result of the ability to invest. And one of the first things that we have, and if you'll advance to the next slide, please, is our Threat Intelligence and Research Organization. We're approaching 300 people on this team, and it's the largest non-governmental threat research organization in the world. Through our customers opting in with their security devices, we have a huge ecosystem of threat sensors throughout the world. We see over a third of all internet traffic. We see over a third of all email traffic. We correlate billions of events daily. And we also use third-party intel, and that goes into an automated analysis tools that allow us to really identify threats anywhere in the world and apply that to the safety of protecting against those threats to all of our customers. Next slide, please. Now, one thing that's happened to many of our customers is that they're overwhelmed by the number of security products out there. And this is just a quick snapshot of some of the many products out there that are available to our customers. Now, it's nice to have choice, but this has led to something that I call the security effectiveness gap. And if you'll go to the next slide, please. And this is the idea that as we add capabilities to our security, oftentimes we're not adding efficiency along with it. And in fact, most of the time we're adding complexity. This means that, there are different user interfaces for each product that we add. There may be different people that need to be trained for it. And then the real hard work is making all of those products to work together. And the place that we'd like to be is in the next slide, when we add capabilities that we're adding very little, if any, to the complexity. And that's something that at Cisco that we are able to do and that we are really driving towards with our security products. And especially when I talk to universities, they oftentimes have this situation much more so than your average medium-sized enterprise. So we see this happening in the university marketplace quite a bit. So what is Cisco doing about it? Next slide. And I like to kind of give this picture just to add a little levity. I'm sure you wouldn't want to fly on this plane. And there's another example that goes along with this, is that Southwest Airlines flies only Boeing 737s. And they're able to gain huge economies of scale by having to train pilots only on one type of airplane. They only have to stock parts for one type of airplane. And it just makes their operations that much easier. So while this is a funny picture, it gives a lot of, it kind of drives home the point that it's important for all of these security products to work together. And if you'll go to the next slide. I wanted to point out that Cisco has a lot of different types of security products. And all of these products are usually top performing products in their category. So just starting at the top, we have Identity Services Engine, or ISE, which allows for identity and access into the network. And it can also be the heart of automation for cybersecurity. And many of you may have heard the term zero trust networking. Well, zero trust networking says that you trust nobody, and you make it so that if a person gets into your network, that they can't get to all of the places in the network. They can only get to certain places. And if I'm a personnel person, I can only get to personnel resources. If I'm a finance person, I can only get to those. If I'm a teacher, I can only get to teaching resources. And of course, students can be segmented as well. So this is the idea of microsegmentation, and the Identity Services Engine makes that very easy. But the key to this is that while we have all of these different products, the thing that really makes it different from other places is that we've automated them and made them work together. And I'll show you an example of this as we move forward. But in the meantime, I would like to highlight some products that you may not have known that Cisco has, and may be a little bit of a surprise to you. So for the next slide, please. We have a recent acquisition, which is Duo. And Duo is a very simple cloud-based multi-factor authentication system. And if you haven't looked at it, I recommend you do. It makes multi-factor authentication easy. And it's not only that, but it's easy to deploy and easy to manage. And even on top of that, we're starting to deploy or to integrate some of the Duo features into many of the Cisco products, even though this was a very recent acquisition. Next slide. Another product that's a very quick and easy way to get started is with the Cisco Umbrella product. This is from a purchase that we made several years ago of OpenDNS, and Umbrella is the enterprise version of OpenDNS. And this, with Umbrella, whenever someone goes to the web, we are not allowing them to go to bad websites. So as an organization, you can make it so that people can't surf to, say, pornographic websites, or you pick the type of bad websites they can't go to. But on top of that, we are also looking for websites that serve up malware, that serve as command and control, or that are phishing. And by doing this, we're making it so that about 95% of all malware is never seen by your enterprise. Next slide, please. And finally, we know that a lot of our customers are going to cloud. So Cisco purchased CloudLock about a year ago. This is a cloud access security broker, meaning that if your users are using cloud-based applications, you can control who gets in and what they're able to access within those applications, as well as what they're able to download. Now, this is also cloud managed and can be remotely managed via the cloud. So this is another very simple product to deploy and to manage. And then getting to the really peak of technology, next slide. Since Cisco can see what is going on throughout the enterprise, both on-site and in the cloud, and see what traffic is going on, we are able to offer this new technology called Encrypted Traffic Analysis. As more and more traffic that we are seeing is encrypted, it becomes important to find malware within that traffic. And ETA, or Encrypted Traffic Analytics, allows us to find malware within packets and within files without even decrypting. So we use the metadata of the packet, we use the net flow, we use worldwide intelligence, and we're able to find this encrypted malware without decrypting. So this helps with protecting the confidentiality of your users, as well as protecting your environment from malware. So let me give you an example of how this automation that I talk about works. Next slide, please. So if a threat enters your environment, it will oftentimes enter at an endpoint. And just as an example of one of our products, Advanced Malware Protection, is going to be the first thing that sees this malware enter the endpoint. Next slide, please. And what it does is it sends a representation or a hash of the file up into our Talos organization, which here is represented as MultiCloud. And the MultiCloud will look at that and say, I have seen these packets many times before. And I know it's a Microsoft upgrade or a Windows iOS upgrade or any kind of upgrade, and I'm going to let that file through. Or it may say, I've seen this file many times before, and I know it's malware. I'm not going to let that through. I'm going to block it or quarantine it or stop it in some way, depending on the choices that are made. Or it may say, I've never seen this before, and it will make a very quick determination about that file by running it in a sandbox and doing other analysis, and it will either let it through or not. Now, regardless of what it does, it will continue to track that file, and if it finds out later that it was malware, or say another customer somewhere else in the world sees it and determines it's malware, then we can actually turn back the clock and say, this was malware, where is it in my system? And so we can turn back the clock. We don't have to be going through syslogs and things like that and do a big analysis. We can just scroll back and see where this file entered our system and every other process it's kicked off. And so we're able to block in that way. We're able to help our customers find and remediate much quicker. But on top of that, that information is then passed on to all the other devices in the network. And by doing that, by seeing this threat once, we're able to enforce everywhere. And it's not just everywhere on your network, it's everywhere in the world. So if an auto plant in Germany sees it first, within about 5 minutes of identifying, all of our customers in the world will be notified of this. And if this malware is already in their systems, it will automatically hunt down and find it for us. So the only way we're going to keep up with all these threats in the future is to have this automation, and that's where we are driving. So to sum things up, Cisco's a big player, and we're using that to our advantage in order to help automate all of the different products that we have and make them work together. And we really think that we can help our customers with that. So I hope that's a great introduction to Cisco Security for you, and I thank you for your time.
Hey, Peter, thanks again for the overview. I think one of the takeaways, just for everyone out there, at a high level, security has become top of mind for everyone. What we're trying to do as an organization is really, through acquisition, is bringing together an entire end-to-end portfolio of security, as one of the biggest issues that IT teams have is trying to manage so many different tools. So with this structure being pulled together, not only does it provide a sort of a single security viewpoint for your organization at all levels, as we try to integrate and bring all these products together. The other thing that is maybe of interest out there is that when you consolidate the licensing, if we find that most customers are using 15 to 20 different security vendors, we're actually able, in a lot of cases, for CIOs to be able to save a lot of money on what you're paying overall for licensing on security products. So thanks for the overview, Peter. Just real quick, in the spirit of like the Oprah Winfrey Show, look under your chairs, because for everyone that's on the call today, we're going to offer a full corporate version of the Cisco Umbrella product for 6-month full free access for personal use. So after this, we'll make sure that the attendee list gets a follow-up on that so that you can get the Cisco Umbrella product. And again, that blocks the malicious destinations before a connection is ever made through DNS. So with that, Peter, thanks again for the overview. And next slide, Amanda, we'll move on to our collaboration portfolio. So I'm going to turn it over to one of our collaboration specialists, Gerard McNulty. Gerard, are you out there?
I'm out here, Matt. Good morning, and thank you everyone for taking.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to visit with us today. By way of introduction, my name is Gerard McNulty. I'm an advisor within our collaboration practice. I've actually had the opportunity to work with several of the campuses within the system, so UCLA, UC San Diego, UC Davis, as well as UC Riverside. And so certainly look forward to the prospect of working with other campuses as we expand our relationship through the SRA program. What I was hoping to do today while we were together, really the session, the way that I've constructed it, it's really not to look at a overall or specific solution, but it's more about sharing with you where Cisco could be a potential candidate for different collaboration projects that you may have on your campus. So we really feel that we have some great tools that could help make work as well as education and learning much more intuitive and approachable. So I'm hoping that you do find some value in the time that we do have together. So if you can advance the slide, please. And it looks like I didn't activate my video, so let me go ahead and do that. So I wanted to share this particular slide. It's in the form of a commercial, right? We just want to be able to qualify to advance our discussions. Cisco is the market leader when it comes to voice, video, and meetings. If we can advance the slide, the next overview here is really looking at our collaboration portfolio. We've got solutions that produce traditional phone systems, telephone handsets, as well as video endpoints. They can be designed for small to large campuses, so you could essentially build the voice and the video network that you need. The other thing that I'll highlight here, you'll see some red dots associated with some of the different products. We spent a lot of time in terms of engineering and design to make certain that all these products are very approachable, so they're designed to be affordable and very easy to use. Next slide, please. Another essential building block to our portfolio is our web conferencing solution. It's WebEx. It is the market leader within that space. We're actually using the tool today for this discussion. It's got a great user interface. You'll see some of the in-meeting controls at the bottom of the page that is being displayed at the moment. Tight integration with your calendaring applications, so you could actually leverage capabilities such as one-button push through your calendar in order to connect to a meeting. Highly secure, just a great tool in terms of bringing people together and removing time and distance in terms of meetings. If we can advance the slide, please. The other element to the WebEx meeting solution that we believe will have some value for you within the higher education marketplace is we have deep integration with various learning management systems. So whether you're using Moodle, Canvas, or one of the other popular LMS solutions, we're actually able to extend the look and feel of that LMS system to the instructor. We can actually insert the class roster directly into the LMS and have it connect to WebEx. So it's a good way in which folks can communicate as part of the classroom, whether it's, assignments, grading, keeping folks apprised of, progress in their class, whatever it may be. LMS and integration with WebEx is something that many of our institutions are coveting and we can deliver. Next slide. Another area of importance, and it's certainly growing in terms of interest within higher education, is the value of video. And Cisco is, again, the market leader within this space. We have highly immersive video solutions all the way from auditorium and theater solutions to traditional conference rooms. And we actually now have solutions that we can bring all the way down to individual small huddle spaces. So we have a comprehensive solution when it comes to video. If we move to the next slide, we actually have a new introduction on the video portfolio that just came out. Next slide, please, which we're calling the RoomKit Mini. And what's attractive about the Room Kit Mini, it's really been designed for those small rooms that would typically have 2 to 6 participants, if you will. It has 4K camera, as well as 4K content sharing. It's got really high-end audio as well as microphones integrated directly within the Mini itself. You can connect this to a display within your conference rooms. The other attractive element to it that's highly compelling is you can actually use this as a USB camera. So if you've got a laptop, you can come into a huddle space and connect the USB cable directly to the Mini, and then you'll be able to take advantage of the great camera, microphone, and speakers within the Mini. And Stanford University this week on Monday actually ordered 180 of these devices on the first day of orderability because they saw that type of value. They actually had a bake-off. And the attractive element beyond its technical leadership is this is about $3,000 to UC for a Room Kit Mini. So pretty attractive price point. Next slide, please. What I wanted to bring forward in terms of this particular slide is Cisco is investing a great deal of energy and investment within the higher education marketplace, so it's a market of great importance to us. We do have a comprehensive approach to how we deliver solutions. We have this umbrella that we call a digital education platform. I really wanted to bring the attention down to the bottom here where we talk about the concept of a secure campus. If we move to the next slide, we actually have some tools within our collaboration portfolio that could help align with an overall secure campus initiative that you may have. We try to follow the whole DHS model where they're promoting the benefits of having solutions in place to address what's happening in advance of an event, during an event, and after an event. And so we've got some wonderful solutions that our account teams can visit with you on. What I was going to highlight is during and after an event, we've got this collaboration tool, next slide please, that we call WebEx Teams, which is a tremendous work stream product that brings people together and allows them to create and contribute in a secure environment. It's oftentimes referred to as business messaging or persistent chat, but again, it's a tool that can bring people together. And if you think about, an incident that may happen on campus, one of the things that we could potentially do, and we've done it elsewhere at other institutions, is we can actually create a response team associated with an incident, and we'll have a virtual room already built in which we can bring everybody together when an incident unfolds, if you will. And within that room, we'll already have floor plans. We'll have evacuation instructions. It'll be sent out to all the people that are part of that incident team, and it'll bring them directly into the team. It'll have video. It'll have a whiteboard. It'll have all those types of capabilities so that you could accelerate your response and be much more responsive to the situation. So that's just one example of where WebEx Teams can be impactful. It's a great learning tool as well in terms of being able to interact with your students and have that shared space in which they can collaborate with one another. The other attractive thing about WebEx Teams in terms of the higher education space, we actually have a promotion underway where we actually extend the WebEx Team application to all your students for free if, in fact, the faculty and administrative staff move forward with WebEx Teams. So the licensing would only be for your professional staff, but the students would be able to take advantage of it for free. So it makes it a lot more attractive in terms of how this is actually put together for budgets. So again, today was all about just giving you a flavor of where collaboration could potentially fit. We know that the audience today is primarily, from the purchasing department. We think that if you have these types of projects that come across your desk, please think of Cisco. This is an area of great importance to us, and we certainly look forward to the prospect of continuing our discussion with you. And Matt, that's what we had to share today from the collaboration team.
Hey, Gerard, thanks for the overview. Again, on the collab portfolio, one of the things you mentioned about campus safety, a lot of the stuff that we're doing as it relates to mass notification as when an incident does happen, using the tools, and then every screen, every device becomes a way to communicate in a mass notification scenario, which is very important at the time of an incident. So we do have workshops around campus safety, if that is of interest. And so please, again, when we pass out the contact info, is that something you'd like a follow-up on of how to leverage your entire collaboration portfolio for other campus safety initiatives, it's a very interesting and successful program that we're currently doing across a lot of school systems and higher education. So with that, thanks, Gerard, very much. We'll move on to our next section covering Cisco Meraki. So I'll let the introduction of the product portfolio up to Leah Almanzar. So Leah, are you out there?
I'm here. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Good morning, University of California. My name is Leah Almanzar. I'm a Cisco Meraki SC serving Northern California public sector accounts. I actually wanted to start by taking you guys back, way back to the year 2000. We had just finished surviving Y2K. The show Survivor actually premiered for the first time. And when you were emailing folks, you were probably emailing an @AOL.com account or an @hotmail.com. iPhones didn't exist, Androids didn't exist, and the primary reason people had phones was actually to talk to people. Now, I was starting college that year, and when I was going to school, really the only places I had internet connectivity was my dorm room, the library, or a computer lab. Wireless was not even prevalent. I think the protocol was 802.11b. Devices did not have wireless cards. Next slide, please. Now, let's fast forward to today. College students today are bringing up to 12 devices on campus. And their expectations are that they have seamless connectivity, their devices can connect anytime, anywhere, and they want it to be secure and they want it to be fast. Also, 1 in 3 students are able to, because of the technology today, they're transferring at least once before they receive their degree. And because of the technology, they have more choices now than ever before on how and where to get their education. So in order to really keep up with these student expectations and demands and needs, the network of today needs to be nimble. It needs to be easier to deploy, easier to manage, easier to troubleshoot, but more importantly, it needs to be intelligent. Next slide, please. As technology evolves, it usually tends to be more complex. At Meraki, we believe that by simplifying powerful technology, we're able to free passionate folks like yourselves in order to focus on your mission and your organization's mission. Ultimately, we aim to give our customers time back so that they can focus on higher value and more strategic tasks. Next slide, please. So how do we do this? Well, we do this by providing a complete cloud-managed portfolio that's all managed through a single dashboard. So we have these 6 products: our wireless access points, Ethernet switches, SD-WAN UTM appliances, endpoint management, SaaS management application, and our newest security cameras. Now, all of these are managed from a central portal called Dashboard. And so in addition to that, what our unique approach gives us is the ability to eliminate architectural complexity by reducing on-premise hardware. So for instance, with our access points, all you need are the APs. There's no controllers on site. With our cameras, all you need is a camera. There's no NVRs, VMS servers, analytical servers on site. In addition to that, we're also able to help simplify deployment. So what we call zero-touch provisioning allows you to actually configure a lot of these devices while they're still on the delivery truck. So when it arrives, pretty much all you're doing is plugging and playing. And then lastly here, what our dashboard provides is out-of-the-box analytics and visibility. And so with that, it also ends up getting smarter over time because of our automatic updates and security patches. Next slide, please. Now, all of these products can work independently, which is great, but you actually end up adding a lot more value when you have multiple Meraki products together. If you just want the cameras, that's great. If you want APs and switches, then you start realizing a lot more value. Buying Meraki is also very simple. So if you want 100 cameras, all you do is buy 100 cameras and 100 licenses. And what that license does, it unlocks everything that you really need in order to manage the system. So it gives you access to the dashboard, it gives you 24/7 support, lifetime warranty for everything other than the camera, which has a 3-year warranty, and access to all features that we have today and all the innovation and features that we're going to provide in the future. Next slide, please. Now, all that is great, but what's really special about Cisco Meraki and what the secret sauce is really Dashboard. So Dashboard is your way to have insight and be able to manage all of your devices. So anywhere that you have internet access, you're able to go to dashboard.meraki.com and manage your devices. And here's a screenshot of what it looks like. So you can take a look at the ability to fingerprint devices. If you're managing switches or APs or cameras, it's all done through this portal. So that's minimizing any sort of learning that you have to do with multiple interfaces. Also, with the dashboard, it doesn't matter where any of these devices are located. So you're able to remotely yet securely manage all of these devices without the need for VPN as well. Now, the other thing that I'll mention here when I'll talk a little bit more about the tools, but Dashboard is also going to provide out-of-the-box tools to help for remote troubleshooting. So things like packet capture, remote cable tests, spectrum analyzers, all of that is built in, helping to accelerate time to resolutions if problems occur. Next slide, please. Now, here's a really great example of one of the newest tools that we released, and this was actually pushed out to all existing wireless customers and all new customers. And what this feature helped to do is address some of the following concerns. Can users access the wireless network successfully? And if they're not, where are they having issues? Is it during authentication? Is it during DNS? Is it that they're not getting an IP address? Now, if they do connect, what users are having a bad time on the network? Is it possible that an iOS update has caused issues with the devices getting connected to the wireless network? We're able to see that information in real time in Dashboard. And also, are there any APs that may be overloaded or need to be optimized? We're able to see this visually with a map that shows green being APs that are great on the network, having a good time, and then red and yellow are APs that we need to focus on. Next slide, please. Another built-in capability is called Topology. So this is a network diagram that's automatically built by our switches. And what's great about this is that traditionally, this is usually manually done. And it can take hours, it can take days. I've had to build several of these. And the problem is, the second you hit save, it's out of date. So when you're looking at this intelligent mapping of your network, it's intelligent because it knows when devices move. If I have an access point that has now moved to a different port, I'm able to see this in real time on Dashboard. If I need to know exactly where a camera is located, I can take a look at Dashboard and it's up to date. So you don't have to worry about, are some of the folks managing the network good with documentation? Are others bad? Am I working with bad data? You have a network topology that's constantly updating itself based on what's happening on the network. Next slide, please. Now, MV, it's our smart cameras. This is our newest product. And what's great about this is that not only does the camera help drastically simplify deployment by the fact that we don't have on-premise gear other than the camera, but it also helps to eliminate a lot of the security concerns that come about when we're talking about cameras. Out of the box, they actually end up encrypting themselves on the hard drive. They also provision themselves with TLS certificates. These are things that usually have to be done by the administrator. And now we're removing this and making sure that no matter your level of expertise with security, when you plug that camera in, it's going to be secure. Now, in addition to this, what I love about our cameras is that it's also able to provide a lot of powerful business intelligence based on the fact that it offers machine learning. So our cameras are able to detect people. It's able to answer questions like how many people are located in a certain part of the library. It's able to give you insight into motion. So if we know that a certain part of the campus, we don't usually anticipate there to be people or motion there, the system is going to be able to notify you of that. And also, if there's something that happens, an incident happens, motion search allows us to quickly find the event by highlighting a certain area. Let's say a laptop was stolen. I can highlight over the area where the laptop was and see all the events that could have been when the laptop disappeared. What's exciting about this is that with future innovations, we're able to move away from folks letting us know that an incident happened to now having the system itself be aware of anomalies and letting us know that something happened. Next slide, please. Now, I mentioned some of the ways that the cloud increases IT efficiency, making it easier to manage, making it so that when we're deploying, it's a lot simpler. Also, if you need to add to meet the needs of students today, the ability to easily scale is available with the cloud managed capability. But a big thing here is also cost savings. So if we're able to reduce the operational costs by simplifying things, we're able to now spend time doing other things. Now, what are these other things that we can now do with all of this time and money that we're saving? Next slide, please. Well, now you're able to invest. When you invest in Meraki, you can actually invest in making your campus smarter. So we can do things like increase student retention and enrollment by offering differentiated services, helping improve the student experience. Imagine being able to identify at-risk students because we're able to tie in information that we get from the access points or the network to know that someone's grades are slipping, but they also haven't been attending class. They haven't been attending the library. Now what we're able to do is provide that additional support. We're also able to spend time by actually engaging with students the way that they want to be engaged with location-aware applications, and also investing in more classroom technologies. And then lastly, what we're able to do is enhance student safety, being able to easily identify where students are located, identifying trespassers, protect against cyber attacks, and making sure that we're always up to date in patching when there's network vulnerabilities. Next slide. Now, I believe that Meraki is an experience, and it needs to be experienced one of two ways, either by seeing a live demo or by actually having gear in hand. And so, as Matt mentioned earlier, we do have a promotion. So for the first 10 people to schedule an on-site demo of Meraki, you're going to be able to take home a Meraki Z3. And so the Z3 is jam-packed with a ton of features. It has 802.11ac Wave 2 built in. It has wired ports. It has the ability for you to use a 4G dongle to take this device anywhere and get connectivity. It's a very, very nice device. So you'll be able to take that home if you schedule a demo with your Cisco rep. Next slide. So in summary here, if you invest with Cisco Meraki, you're able to invest more in your students. Work simple. Thank you for the time, everyone.
Hey, Leah, thanks for the overview on Meraki. Again, the first 10 folks that want to do an on-site demo, any campus, any med center, anywhere, we'll be glad to get out there to do that, and you'll get to take that device. We'll be able to offer that device to you. It's a great thing to look at as far as teleworker solutions, remote clinics, remote offices, really, really great dashboard. If you get a chance, as Leah said, to experience it, it really is an awesome way to manage the network. So Leah, thanks for the overview. Next, we're going into probably our fastest growing area and one area that's very exciting, which is IoT, which kind of falls into, smart campus and smart everything and all the buzzwords that you've heard out there. But the reality is a lot of all the devices that are being connected to the network, which create a great security problem on one hand, are just a lot to manage just from traditional IT network standpoint. And a lot of that burden falls on you folks from the IT side. So you're not getting any additional budget, you're not getting additional folks, but as people put sensors and start connecting everything to the network, that burden falls on IT. So that's an area that we are probably the fastest growing in. And if you don't have a network that you can holistically manage and secure, it creates a huge challenge. So next, I'm going to turn it over to Victoria Lee. She is our specialist in Smart Campus and IoT for Cisco. So Victoria, are you out there?
I am here. Hello.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So thank you all for staying with us. This is last but not least IoT, as Matt mentioned, and then we'll be giving you back the rest of your afternoon. So as you mentioned, my name is Victoria, and I look after IoT for California. So Amanda, if you can just go to the next slide, please. So the concept of IoT has been around for quite a while now, and whether we work in an IT function or not, most of us, as Matt mentioned, we all have heard the buzz around data being the new oil, organizations needing to digitize to avoid being disrupted, and of course the overwhelming number of things which are yet to be connected. So our prediction is that an estimated 30 billion things will be connected just by 2020, and that number will further increase thereafter. But what does this actually mean for you? Where does it lead? And how can Cisco then help in the context of the University of California and the Office of the President? So let's drill into that a little bit. Amanda, if you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So what is Cisco working on in the IoT? Effectively in this space, what we are looking at is connecting things for data-driven business outcomes. So the IoT essentially marries advanced software with sensors and a number of other devices on a communication network to help transform our world in multiple different ways. So Cisco is using IoT to do a number of different things around the world. So reducing air pollution in some of the world's biggest cities, for example, providing telemedicine, remote specialist healthcare, connecting the right doctors with the right people without needing to physically be in the same location. Leah and some of the others talked about enhancing campus safety. So we can either further expand those technologies that we talked about in security, Meraki, and collaboration with IoT to expand those technology capabilities, you know, for before, during, and after any incidents on the campus. Improving the student experience, so student engagement. This could be through sports and entertainment. Again, Leah touched on a lot of this with what we do around Meraki, but the technology there is endless in terms of wayfinding, you know, huge play on sports and fan engagement and bringing students in with all of those devices that they have to connect them more to what we're doing in the university. Other things around reducing traffic, saving energy, saving water, the possibilities really are endless. So let's just drill into just a couple of these here. Amanda, if you can go to the next slide, please. So the first one, the unbounded university. So we talked already a bit about smart campuses, smarter campuses improving both student and faculty services to create operational efficiencies. So through understanding a demand better, first of all, we can allocate scarce resources so that we can put people in the right places at the right times. And that's just not within one campus, but that could be across multiple. Then next, bearing in mind that we have rapidly changing student demographics, both cultural and age diversity today within universities, the ability to connect people, processes, and things allows us to remove the physical borders of the educational institution. So this gives students the ability to have a global education today that they expect anytime, anywhere that they are. And next, campus-wide oversight. So giving us the ability to make informed quality and operational decisions where we need to. Those can be in real time across the university campuses and across all medical institutions as well if needed within the university. And finally, research capabilities. So key for all universities. IoT can of course help us build stronger, flexible communications between students, between faculty, and between other external stakeholders as needed, enhancing those research capabilities at the same time as lowering operational costs and fostering innovation, as we mentioned. Let's take a look at another one. Amanda, if you can go to the next slide, please. Perfect. So sustainable campus. So IoT also can help us with faster progression towards whatever sustainability goals we have. So whether that is fact-based decision-making through things like location analytics, traffic patterns, as we mentioned, which can then help us reduce things like carbon emissions, lowering utility costs. It could be further reducing those energy costs, or even just managing things like waste more efficiently. Across the campus, we can also use IoT to improve the mobility experience. This could be, for example, through more sustainable and user-centric multimodal transportation options, for example. And then finally, simplifying processes. So there's a lot of processes that we have today where we might otherwise need additional resources. For example, IoT could help provide automated, more secure access across the campus. And let's go to the next slide, please. Brilliant. So the Cisco portfolio that we have now ultimately includes a lot of the products that you've heard mentioned in earlier presentations from my colleagues today. But the idea that we have around IoT is to bring everything together that you need to save you having to worry about it in order to create those business outcomes and some of those examples that I mentioned. So whether it's connecting sensors to derive different information or bringing analytics to the edge, ultimately we give you the ability to make better decisions, to automate some of those decisions where you want to be able to, and security being the secure connectivity underlying it being the foundation for everything we do across a typical IoT deployment. Amanda, you can go to the next slide, please. So the portfolio at Cisco that we have includes not just our own products, but we've also done the homework for you in connecting sort of end-to-end validated designs. So across the ecosystem of IoT, connecting all different things to achieve some of those examples that we mentioned in those use cases, Cisco has tried and tested validated design with a number of different partners, as you can see here across, multiple different industries and use cases, which helps you to provide the end-to-end solution. But to Matt's point again, is making sure that everything is done securely so that it's not putting additional burden on your IT functions. So whether the partners in here are people that you already work with or people that we at Cisco would bring to you as part of that portfolio, you can feel safe that everything is tried, tested, and certainly secure. I would highly recommend that if any of the kind of IoT use cases that you have or concerns that you have, even you reach out to the Cisco team. As I mentioned, the products in the IoT portfolio encompasses a lot of what the other teams talked about, just to give you those business outcomes. So feel free to reach out to us, and even if the examples that I mentioned here today are not encompassing what you're looking at, but there's other things, we will have to look at them. And I think that concludes. Thank you, Matt.
All right, Victoria, thank you very much for going through that. And like I mentioned earlier, we're really building, this underlying network platform that makes it manageable to do these things and helps take the burden off of IT with validated designs with a lot of vendors. I think we have over 400 plus vendors that we're working with different devices and sensors. So if that's something that's of interest, part of the strategic relationship agreement with the University of California, we've included workshops based around this at your campus or medical center. So just feel free again to reach out if you'd like to schedule some of those, and we'll make those an on-site day or multi-day event, half day, whatever works for you and your team. So thanks, Victoria, on the overview of Smart Campus and IoT. It's a big topic, but it's really about how do you put a network in place that can secure and manage all the devices that are out there. And so next, as we start to close out, I'm going to turn it over to Summer Himmel. Summer, are you out there?
I'm here.
All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Do a little introduction to the team.
Absolutely. So I'm Summer Himmel, the regional manager for our Northern California team, partnered with Nitesh, who has the Southern California space. So as you can see here, we've got the dividing line. I've got responsibility for Davis, Berkeley, San Francisco, Merced, Santa Cruz, and Office of the President. Got a team of 2 account managers as well as 2 systems engineers, and I'm partnered with Oliver Thomas, runs our engineering organization. So really excited to be presenting to you all today. Really, the call to action for all of you is this is who you call. Matt talked about scheduling on-site Meraki demos as well as workshops with Victoria. So please reach out to this team. You know, we've got some great incentives for the first 10 who reach out to the team and get their on-site Meraki demos scheduled. And please reach out to me if you've got questions. Reach out to the account team if you want to engage them. I know that many of you probably know these faces already. And with that, Matt, I will turn it back to you to close.
All right, Summer. Thanks very much. Again, as we talk through today, you know, the idea is to really just give an overview of a lot of the areas that you may not be familiar working with Cisco on. With that being said, we have, just as a reminder, if you're looking to schedule any workshops, any follow-up, this is the team you contact, and we'll make sure that we get folks out there and addressing your needs and concerns. We will be following up with the presentation or recording of this event and all this contact information for the direct team so that everyone has all of the information needed for follow-up. And again, with the two demo options and promotions we offer today around the first 10 folks that schedule the on-site Meraki demo will get the devices, and the folks that are on the call that were logged in and registered will be following up with the umbrella accounts for 6 months free using for the full corporate account. So with that said, we're really, again, excited to be part of this partnership with the University of California. There's a lot in our agreement besides pricing that involves training and a lot of things that are now available to every campus and med center. So again, if there's any way we can help, that's what this team is here for. I want to thank everyone for their attention and time today, and hope everyone has a great rest of the afternoon. Thank you. Jade. Goodbye.
So thank you everyone for attending the session. The session was hosted by Learning Services, your trusted learning partner. If you wish to engage our service or want more information, please contact us at ls-engage@cisco.com. Thank you. Have a great day ahead.